Welcome back after the break. And Union's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has presented her 9th budget, and focus is on increasing capex this financial year. The central government has enhanced the public capex to 12.2 lakh crore versus 11.2 lakh crore last year, and government pegs fiscal deficit a tad lower at 4.3% of GDP for FY27. What do you think of these numbers signify? We have DEA Secretary and DFS Secretary joining us to break down the numbers. Over to them.
The fiscal prudence and the fiscal consolidation story is not new. And it was in the budget of 21-22, where FM had announced that by this year, this fiscal, we would come down to 4.5%. And we have not only achieved that, we are at 4.4 as we find. So coming from that space, I think we come from a place of credibility, and it should give confidence to everyone who's watching that that the numbers that we are putting out there are attainable, and we would be reaching them as we have done in the past.
एक इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन जो बजट में है और जो अनाउंसमेंट वित्त मंत्री ने किया है वो बॉन्ड मार्केट के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से एक फ्रेमवर्क ऐलान किया जाएगा. बेसिकली इसके पीछे का मकसद क्या है?
इसके पीछे का मकसद यह है कि कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड मार्केट लिक्विड हो, वेल डेवलप्ड हो, वो बहुत आवश्यक है किसी भी विकसित देश के लिए. हमारा कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड मार्केट बहुत बढ़ा है. आज की डेट में हम आई थिंक वी आर क्लोज टू 58.6 लाख करोड़ द बॉन्ड मार्केट विच हैज़ ग्रोन रैपिडली इन द लास्ट 10 years. 10 साल में बहुत बढ़ा है, पर उसको आगे भी बढ़ना और लिक्विडिटी उस पर होनी चाहिए. तो हमने 3 चीज़ें कही हैं. एक कि सेबी एक मार्केट मेकिंग फ्रेमवर्क ज़रूर बनाएगा, जिसके लिए उन्होंने एक वर्किंग कमेटी ऑलरेडी बनाई हुई है. मार्केट मेकिंग होता है कि दोनों तरफ से कोट्स लेकर के उसके पीछे का जो बॉन्ड है उसको उपलब्ध करवाना, वो मार्केट मेकर का काम होता है. तो बॉन्ड मार्केट में इक्विटी मार्केट के कंपैरिजन में मार्केट मेकिंग बहुत कम है. तो मार्केट मेकिंग अत्यंत आवश्यक है कि वो लिक्विडिटी प्रोवाइड करे, ट्रेडिंग आराम से हो पाए. बाकी जो दोनों और जो मेजर्स बताए गए हैं, एक है कि दैट कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड इंडेक्स का डेरिवेटिव अलाउ करना, और उसका जो फ्रेमवर्क है वो दोनों रेगुलेटर्स आरबीआई और सेबी, उनसे बातचीत भी हमारी भी हो रही थी और आपस में भी उनकी बातचीत हो रही थी. दे विल कलेक्टिवली मेक अ फ्रेमवर्क, बोथ ऑफ देम फॉर देयर ओन डोमेन्स. उसका ये फायदा होगा कि इंडेक्स में काफ़ी तरह के बॉन्ड्स होते हैं, तो कोई भी ट्रेडर हो, कोई भी मार्केट मेकर हो, उसको बहुत सारे बॉन्ड्स का एक्सपोजर एक बार में मिल जाता है. और डेरिवेटिव ट्रेडिंग में कैश मार्केट से जो अलग है कि इनिशियल अमाउंट कम देना पड़ता है और ज़्यादा अमाउंट का आपको एक्सपोजर मिल जाता है. दैट ऑल्सो एड्स टू लिक्विडिटी. ये सोच थी.
That's an important point, ma'am, that you've made. Let me come to you, sir, and talk about the financial stability of the ecosystem. Of course, India's financial ecosystem or the economic environment has largely been stable, and that really reflects in the kind of GDP growth numbers that not just the government has sort of spoken about, but the IMF has also spoken about. But tell me, what are going to be some of the key measures that the government is going to embark upon further to ensure and maintain this stability?
I think I'll ask her to answer. The answer. Yeah.
On the GDP numbers.
Yeah, GDP numbers, stability.
So the GDP numbers, as the CEO also explained 2 days back, we think we will be able to achieve the 7% plus growth numbers based on our confidence in the macroeconomic fundamentals that we have today, built with a lot of work, and like ma'am said right in the beginning of her speech, on account of conscious choices that we have made. So based mainly on the confidence which comes from our macroeconomic fundamentals and the fact that going forward, also we are continuing most of the commitment that we have placed on particular drivers in the economy, particularly the strategic frontiers, and plus the stress that we have been placing on human capital as well. So keeping both together, we do feel that we would be able to achieve those numbers.
Okay, ma'am, I have one question for you, but before that, I'll go to the DFS Secretary. There is an announcement related to constitute a high-level committee for next set of banking reforms. What would be the framework? What would be the terms of reference for this high-level committee? Also, does it include next set of banking merger as well?
See, that I can't predict now. What we had in mind when it was when the finance minister was announced was that we, the last time a committee was formed on the banking sector reforms was in the late 90s. And since then, there was no comprehensive assessment of the status and what needs to be done to achieve the goals of Viksit Bharat 2047.
Right.
So we hope we'll have a detailed TOR, and hopefully the TOR would also include the number of the banks and how much the FDI could be allowed, what is the voting issues, what are the capital requirements, and the branch licenses, foreign bank presence. These are some of the elements that could form part of the TOR that could be released for consultation. We'll have a expert panel from outside who can actually consult a large number of stakeholders and provide the suggestion to submit to the government. The government, after deliberation, will take a final call.
So are you saying that the overall FDI limit in public sector banks, which is currently which is there at this point of time, could be increased going forward?
No, we have currently also, without this committee, we are examining how to increase current the limits of FDI in the PSBs. And that is currently under examination. That will not be part of this high level. But it can also think about it. Once you make a committee, it can go around entire the banking sector, what needs to be done so that the country will be able to achieve these goals.
Okay, one more question on this, the follow-up question. The kind of banking system we have, in fact, we have private sector banks, public sector banks. Do you think that we have sufficient appetite in the market to allow more FDI in the public sector banks?
See, let me put it this way. Currently, the bank credit to non-financial sector is about 56% to the GDP. And many countries, it is anywhere between 150 to 200. And most of the countries have developed through bank credit. There is no country who just became a developed country without anything. Now, bank credit is crucial. That is required. Now, for that, people need to save. Okay, that is savings, how the savings are translated into investments. Now we need, and then people also need to be provided the credit. Now, currently, we have anywhere between 3 to 350 million people who are credit excluded. They are financially included, but credit excluded. Our challenge, if a country's challenge, is to ensure that they also get credit. Now, for that, we need many institutions. Could be bigger, could be medium size, could be smaller.
Right.
And our country is so big, you require all kinds of banks with all kinds of variants in different parts of the country. That's all.
Okay, one question on the announcement related to restructuring of PFC and REC, which is essentially an NBFC. Why has government reached on this conclusion?
See, the government now announced they wanted to rationalize this. You know, perhaps in my view, PFC, RFC does more or less same financing of power sector, and REC is the subsidiary of PFC.
Okay.
REC is the subsidiary of PFC.
Right.
So the wholly owned company and the subsidiary doing the same business, I think perhaps may not make much sense to the government because there is not better utilization of available capital. Ultimately, for financing larger projects, more number of projects, it's better that you have a single entity, and then they used to take the capital will be much efficiently utilized. Perhaps that is the one reason why they are now looking at it, rationalization of these two institutions.
तो क्या इसका मतलब ये भी है कि आरईसी टीएफसी का मर्जर हो सकता है या फिर आरईसी या पीएफसी को किसी दूसरी कंपनी के साथ जो पावर सेक्टर में उसको मर्ज किया जा सकता है?
I don't think so. There is any proposal to divest either one.
Okay. No, I'm not talking about divestment, sir. I'm talking about merger in the same space.
See, these two are there. Two are owned by the same ministry.
Okay.
Government, the Ministry of Power owns both the PSUs. So they will take a decision how to better do it.
So thanks very much for the clarification that's come in, on all these two units. But ma'am, let me also ask you, CAPEX has been the big story. While we talk about infrastructure spends by the government or allocation by the government. There is, of course, a focus on skilling as well, on, on other things as well, exports as well. But the one key story that the government has focused on has been capex, a capex push that the government has consistently given. But how confident are you now of the state's ability to sort of step on the gas and perhaps do what's required from their side as well?
So, in my view, in our view, collective view in government, which is demonstrated through the actions that we have been taking, when I'm alluding to the SASCI, the 50-year-old loan, 50-year tenor loans that we provide to state governments, there has been such a great offtake of that, and such a great review of that from states that it has enhanced their ability to do capex. Just as the government of India is committed to enhancing and doing capex, do this big push for capex in infra, which has really held up the economy, and all the triggers that it lends to because of this, the various sectors that get invigorated due to capex spending, leading further to growth. Similar story now we are seeing on the state side as well. And as you would have noticed in this budget, the SASCI allocation has grown. It has grown significantly. So we take states as partners in this, and we hope to continue the overall capex story.
Absolutely, and that remains to be seen, plus the private sector as well. That also sort of needs to move the needle as far as capex is concerned from their side as well. In one or two sectors related to energy and semiconductors, that has already begun, but the remaining remains to be seen. But ma'am, let me ask you a follow-up question. While we talk about the confidence that investors look at with respect to the Indian economy, but what are some of the big risks that you foresee for the Indian economy, given the fact that we don't know where these trade disruptions are going to lead to or what they're going to lead to?
So speculating about what kind of disruptions would happen or not happen, I think will not lead us anywhere. We have got...
But what is the government of India prepping for when it comes to foreseeing the risks that might see?
So the government of India does, when we do our review, particularly the collective review in the Ministry of Finance, which we all sit and collectively do, we are aware of, and it is constantly at the top of our minds, that there are external headwinds and that there is uncertainty. And if you see the budget carefully, and you see the direction that we have been taking, the disha humne li hai of Atmanirbharta, which was again mentioned specifically by FM in her speech, that our Atmanirbharta is the lodestar. So all the first kartavya, if you can see all of that, it comes from also responding to the external environment to make yourself strong in certain strategic and frontier sectors. Similarly, keeping the external, because we all live in a world that's connected. Also upskilling your own manpower. Myriads of examples and opportunities are there for upskilling our youth so that we can respond forcefully and continue the growth story that India has.
Ma'am, one question. मुझे याद है कि जब आप केपेक्स को रिव्यू कर रही थी मिनिस्ट्रीज के साथ, डिपार्टमेंट्स के साथ, तो आप न्यू ग्रोथ ड्राइवर सर्च कर रही थी, कौन कौन से न्यू सेगमेंट्स हो सकते हैं जहाँ पे केपेक्स बढ़ाने की पॉसिबिलिटी है? अगर आप उसके बारे में थोड़ा बताएं, कौन कौन से न्यू सेक्टर्स हम देखेंगे जहाँ पे केपेक्स ग्रोथ हम देख सकते हैं FY27?
तो बहुत दूर नहीं जाना पड़ेगा, बजट पढ़ना पड़ेगा. तो बजट में ही, if you know, there is a para in which ma'am has said today that so couple of things I would say. There are 7 high-speed rails announced in the budget today. 7 all at one go. There is 1 DFC. There is a whole section on sustainable movement and cargo outside of the roads, which is inland waterways, 20 national waterways, coastal shipping of cargo. So there are all these growth drivers which are lying there waiting for the potential to be tapped, and we hope to tap it.
So we are running out of time, and I have 2 quick questions. The first one is regard to overall allocation when it comes to agriculture credit target, and also on the announcement related to credit-linked scheme for animal husbandry sector. So how this scheme is different from the existing, the current KCC?
See, one is agriculture. This year we have exceeded the target. Agriculture credit, and in fact growth is almost 10%. Okay. Now we'll be completing, and the overall I think we should be reaching about 36 lakh crores, something like that, for agriculture. And animal husbandry, there is already a scheme currently implemented by them. Now we are going to provide a credit guarantee to that. So that earlier it is very difficult without credit guarantee. People may not be able to avail the credit.
So what would be the quantum?
The scheme details are yet to be thrashed out, but this is the announcement the finance minister made. In the scheme, when the scheme full details are thrashed out, then the details will be known. Till the time, not.